All right, I was just double checking if we're actually live, but it seems like we are. Good. So, my name is Dave Van Vliet. I am going to share exactly what I have learned of becoming a father. A couple of weeks ago, my wife told me, Dave, we're having a surprise. And the surprise in this case was a little Dave. Well, maybe it's going to be a girl, we don't know yet. So, I've learned so many things. I want to go over the main 10 things that can help you, even if you're not a father, to help you in your business, specifically a coaching business. So let's just dive right into it because I got too many things to go over. Now, the first one, and this was really the biggest one for me personally, is that you plan. As a man, you usually plan your life, right? Or else, what the hell are you doing? You need to plan your life out. Every single month, I sit down, I plan my month ahead. Like, okay, what are we going to do? What's the goals that we're going to hit? How much money are we going to make, right? You need to plan out your life. I'm a very structured man. But here's the thing. You plan, she plans, but God is the best planner. This is something that I've learned, not through coincidence, not through lucky moments, but simply through just living life. If you go through life and you're somebody that takes massive amounts of action and you just, crush one goal after the other, you will start to notice something is currently guiding me. And this is something that I've learned after getting the news. Why? Because I'm born on the 23rd of December, okay? My wife, she's born on the 22nd of December. And we are now pregnant, or she's pregnant. Well, I also feel pregnant, I just don't carry a baby. She's gonna be delivering by December. Now, how beautiful is that? Now, obviously, we did planning, right? We wanted to plan. But once again, God is the best of planner, because you might want things, but that doesn't mean it's gonna happen. Matter of fact, you don't have any choice than to follow his lead. So this has led me realize that it's truly, truly the planning of God, right? Because we actually, and this is something that I'd be open and authentic to say, we actually had a miscarriage a couple of years ago, and it was very sad. And at the end of the day, we learned to accept it, right? But it didn't mean there were a lot of emotions involved, and it was really, really difficult. Because obviously getting the great news of you're going to be a father, and then after like a couple of weeks, it's just like, when a party dies, the music stops and it's just, okay, we're not continuing, right? And it was very difficult. I obviously had to show up as a man and, be there for her. But obviously I myself had difficult. But yeah, at the end of the day, we kept working on ourselves. I kept showing up in my business. I kept showing up every single day, making sure that I'm the best version of myself, so that when that day comes, when we get the good news again, I'm going to be ready, and I'm more than ready. So I want to share like 8 more things that are going to absolutely change your life. But I just want to make sure that this thing is going all right here on YouTube, because it's actually the first time I am I'm live. So if you're watching this, welcome to the live. I'm going to do this frequently, so make sure you subscribe to keep the value up. I want to change the title. I don't know why I cannot change the title. It's kind of weird because I don't know what the title of this stream is. Either way, you probably see what the title is, so enjoy it. So second thing that I learned, and this I learned the hard way, is that emotional control is so important, okay? And I'm not just talking about the emotional control of, when I feel anger, I feel the anger and I'm going to be with the anger, and, not that kind of emotional control. What I'm speaking of is the emotional control that you need to have whenever your partner triggers you or whenever situations trigger you. Because when you've got a little one walking around, and I don't have a little one walking around yet, but I do know that in a couple of months, 7 to be exact, I will. So it's so important that I learn emotional control, because this is something that I have really difficulties with. I was never really good at emotional control, right? Because maybe, from home we didn't learn it. I don't know, which is really, really difficult. Whenever I had anger in my body, to just not be an emotional terrorist, as I call it. Just triggering not only myself, but also my wife. Because I didn't know how to manage my emotions. I'll give you an example. So when she got mad, for example, right? And she was telling me, Dave, this, that, this is something that you're doing wrong. Because I've got a good wife. She's challenging me constantly. What happened is I started to defend myself. And I started to, maybe even attack her or, make her feel bad. And this was one of the worst things that you can do as a man. It's like that's not emotional control. It's emotional terrorism, where whenever you get triggered, you just try to hurt somebody back. So what I learned after this news is that, okay, I need to stop doing that, because until recently, I have been doing that. I haven't been showing up as a man as I should be. So this is something that I need to do now, because I don't have an option. Because what's the option? I'm going to keep doing this, and then the little one comes around and he just sees how the father is constantly shouting at his mother. I mean, that's not the child that I want to grow up, in my life. So I need to learn that, and I've been doing so through coaches. I have, had many coaches in my life, and this is actually the third thing. I'll make it a 2-in-1 bonus for you right now. The third thing is that you need to keep investing in yourself, even though you might be difficult. Like, oh, I'm going to have a baby in 7 months. I need to save up. And when he comes, no, I'm a coach myself. You might be a coach. How are you going to keep closing deals if you're not even investing in yourself? You're going to pitch somebody, okay, it's going to be $5,000. And you don't even invest in yourself. What if they say, oh, but Dave, I cannot do it. I don't have the money. You're going to be like, okay, no problem. I totally understand, because you do understand. Like, a lot of closing is being sold on your own program. I mean, you're not sold on your own program if you're not investing in yourself. Hear me out. Because I recently told to a guy that I met a couple of weeks ago. We met in Dubai. He's in one of the communities that I was with. I told him I cannot do it because my baby's coming up, and I just cannot invest in myself. And I reflected after. I was like, what am I even saying? I cannot invest in myself? I'm doing online coaching. I preach others to invest in themselves. I pitch all the time because I'm always closing. And I'm telling this guy, this coach, that I cannot invest in myself. It made me realize and reflect, like, okay, investing is a bit more scary now because we're going to have a kid. But I need to be invested. I need to keep investing because I'm a coach. So that's the third thing. Investing in yourself is still very, very important, even in despite of how your situation is like financially, right? You might even switch it around, right? Everything is perspective. In sales, everything is perspective, right? You can say to somebody, well, if this was an objection that somebody gave me, I would have said, Dave, I totally get it. But now is the time to get risks going, because in 7 months, he or she's going to be walking around. Right now, he or she ain't walking around yet. So what you need to do is keep investing in yourself right now, so that whenever that baby comes around, you've got all the money in the world. So that's what I'm doing. But back to the emotional control, you need to learn that as a man, because no woman, no kid wants to have a man in the house that shouts, right? And a man needs to be a rock. And this is something that I am learning as we speak. And it has been going quite well. You know why? Gym. Gym has been one of the best things I have recently picked up again. I was always in the gym, but I was just going in, quick pump, out, 30, 40 minutes. But now I'm in the gym. I mean, I just came from the gym. I spent there 1 hour, 50 minutes, because I am just so locked in on the feeling of pushing myself. And when I feel this emotion, anger, sadness, frustration, I let it out in the gym. I move things that don't want to move. So it really helps me to be grounded when I get back home, because I let it all out in the gym. And I'm not sitting in the gym screaming and shouting, of course, right? I just have my AirPods on and I'm just in my zone, right? Okay, maybe sometimes I'm dropping the weights a little too hard. I'm lifting heavy weights, okay? It's a gym, it's not a ballet. So this is the thing, right? Like, you need to have something that allows you to have this anger, this frustration, this I guess, being a man in 2026, we all have this. We get frustrated. Things don't go our way. People annoy us. But the worst thing you can do is let it out on others. The worst thing you can do is let it out on your own family. So that's exactly what I'm not doing. And I've committed to this. And it's going well. Fourth thing, we're going through this quite rapidly. I mean, we've been live for about 10 minutes now. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream. If you can like the stream, I would really appreciate it, so that more people can see it. Fourth, I need to be more honest with my parents, because I have been fake to them. And I realized this after hearing the news. I was like, I'm becoming a father. And I understood my father more because, and this is the logical reason that I was thinking of when I heard the news and I was talking to myself. I thought, okay, but I know and understand why I wasn't real with my parents, because all of a sudden, I'm now 4 years old. I didn't remember 1 to 4. The first the remembrance that I had of my life was where I literally just went to school for the first time. I mean, this was when I was 4 years old. In the Netherlands, you go to school when you're 4 years. Before that, I didn't remember anything. So this is the reason that I gave myself. Like, I don't remember them, giving me life. But now, going through this process myself, seeing my wife get pregnant, it just changed everything in me. I was like, why can I not be real with my own parents if they created me? It doesn't even make sense, right? So the first thing I did, I called my dad and just had a good chat with him. I just told him some things that I've never told him before. Because being fake, being inauthentic, it literally means just lying, not saying things, keeping things to yourself, right? And it doesn't make sense. Why can you not be honest towards somebody that created you, right? I don't know. So I started to immediately change that. And here's the thing, why I'm telling you this, like why are you speaking about parents? Well, here's the thing. If you want to build an online coaching, you need to build a brand, right? Because how are you going to sell people if you're not able to be your authentic self online? People, they first buy into you and then they buy into your program. So if you're not authentic online, you're not even sharing your own life. Like there's nothing there. Nobody will buy from you. You're going to be, nobody trusts you, right? There's already so many coaches out there. You need to make sure that you're the one that has this uniqueness. Not a unique program, it helps. It helps if you have a unique system, unique program, whatever. But you need to be unique as yourself. And there's only one you. And here's the correlation between those two. If I'm being inauthentic to my parents, right? I'm not real with them. And I share something online that is authentic, right? Maybe about, what I believe in, or maybe something that I've done. If they see that, they're going to be like, what, Dave, why didn't you tell me, right? So subconsciously, I wasn't posting things that I wanted to post because I wasn't honest with them. So if you want to become good at coaching, personal branding, marketing, start at the family, start at the nuclear family, right? Because you are not going to get a good personal brand off the ground if you're not able to be even honest with your own parents, with yourself, essentially. Now, next thing, the location. I've been thinking so much about this. Where do I want my kids to grow up? Where am I going to go? Because I'm pretty well traveled. When I started my coaching business in 2020, 2 years later, I was already doing quite well for myself, making anywhere to 5K a month, sometimes a little less because you know how it goes, inconsistency. But I did quite well. So I moved a one-way ticket to Colombia. Well, actually, I didn't have too much money in my account because I was always investing in myself. I've spent well over 6 figures into online coaching, right? I spent literally like 7.5K on coaching programs, 8K, 5K, 3.5K, a lot, right? And I learned a lot from it. This is what I teach to my clients as well, the things that I learned from them, right? These business coaches. But what happened is I went to Colombia and I was like, okay, this is pretty nice here, good quality of life, nice people, people that are quite ambitious because, nobody goes to Colombia if you're not quite ambitious, crazy, because, it's quite far away from home, of course, right? South America is not really close to home. So there were a lot of interesting people. But do I want my kids to grow up there? No, because it's not safe. I want my kids to go out and not think about, them being taken away, which happens, sadly enough, in Colombia. So with that being said, I was like, okay, where am I going to go? Because Colombia is not it. Okay, maybe Spain. I live in Spain right now. Yeah, Spain is nice, but it's not my culture. It's not my people. They drink a lot of beer. I mean, everybody that drinks beer nowadays, but it's just like the Spaniards, they drink beer at 1 p.m., right? I'm just going out to the gym and I see people drinking beer. And, it's all fine. It's their culture, right? Whatever. But I don't want that, right? And it's not only the beer, it's also just kind of the way of living, the mindset. It's nice to live as a foreigner, but I don't want my kids to grow up there. And then I was like, okay, maybe whatever, right? You hear Middle East often. No, I don't like the Middle East no more due to war. I don't want no war, right? Okay, maybe Asia. I've never been to Asia, but I don't like Asia because they're different people, right? I stick out like a sore thumb. I'm like 6 foot. I'm like 185 centimeters. I'm going to be like, it's not good. I'm a tall Dutchman. I don't need to be there. Right? And also just because, I don't know, 2 different cultures, it's not going to be it. I'm like, where do I go? Well, you know what? Holland is actually probably quite good. I mean, I had a good youth. I was playing around. I was biking around. I had good friends. I had good school. Everything was perfect. So I'm like, you know what? It's Holland. It's so simple. I was always looking around like, where do I want to live? Where do I want my kids? No, it's actually just getting back to my roots, right? And the main reason isn't just a good youth, but it's also because I'm going to have a lot of friends and family in the Netherlands, like a lot. And I know from my Okay, I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. Some technical difficulties. happens sometimes in your life. They say new levels, new devils, right? This is the new devil that I'm fighting. Okay, we're back. So I don't know what you heard at the last, but I was just saying I had a lot of friends and family in my youth, and it made it real nice because I can learn indirectly from other people. I could literally see like, hey, this is Uncle Joe. He's drinking all the time. I don't want to be like him. Hey, this is Uncle Richard. He's hella rich. I want to be like him, right? This is how I literally got into business because I had a far uncle, and he was super rich. He had yachts, right? He had everything. So I was like, I want to be like him because he has a lot of money, right? And I knew through hard work, you don't get there because my father is one of the hardest workers that I know, right? But he doesn't have a yacht. Not that he needs to, right? But it's just like, I know that hard work alone doesn't get you there. You need smart work. So then I realized, and I'm just making note of that because that's actually a very good point. Hard work doesn't get you there. Smart work does. So I realized, okay, my kid, they need to have good family, good friends around because it just creates you. If I'm going to live in Colombia and I'm going to create a little family there and just maybe we have one friend and that's it, that's very lonely. I don't want my kid to be lonely. I want him to experience the world, right? This is why I probably wouldn't send him to homeschooling either. But we'll leave that for another day. So that's another lesson that I've really, really learned and have thought about it, right? One of the reflections that I was like, okay, I actually want them to just grow up in the Netherlands, right? The next thing, I recently invested in an office. This is actually where I'm recording it from. Like, got like a little section here for my cafe. Got like my little desk here with the hustle station, some affirmations here, and the rest is still quite empty. I want to have like a podcast studio here, maybe invite some guests over, do our own podcast. But this office has really, really gone a long way because my wife, she's pregnant right now. This is why I'm making this live. And she's quite ill. She's like puking all day. And whenever I'm sitting in my home office, because I've got a nice home office as well with the desk and everything, cool background, because I used to work from home for the last 5 years until I took this office right around the corner of my house. And when I work at home and I hear her puking, like that's not a nice way to work, right? So I realized like I need to make a change, right? So I got this office and now I'm sitting here and it's just like peace. Like I don't hear anything. Although there is one neighbor here that's quite loud, but that's also the Spanish culture where, they don't speak like, hey, welcome to the store. They're like, hey, welcome to the store. It's just like Americans. They're also like over the top, which is fine, right? But we Dutch, we're a little more calm. Like, hey, act normal. You're already crazy enough. But it's fine. Like, I'm not going to complain about culture if I am in somebody else's culture. This is one of the things that I truly learned, even from living in Colombia. Like, I come to your world, so I'm going to adapt to your culture. I learn the language, which I'm fluent in Spanish. I will maybe even drink whatever you guys are drinking, right? I might even just eat whatever you guys are eating, right? Although I have my own values that I will always respect. But I will respect your culture. And I do personally think a lot of people should do that as well. I see a lot of immigrants, they come to Europe, and they don't respect the culture at all, right? This is why people like Dutch Travel Maniac, they just blow up because he just shows like these people, they're coming inside our countries, which we have very strict cultures and rules, and they're not abiding by it whatsoever. And I think that's very disrespectful. Outside of what race you are, what color you are, you should respect one's culture or else just go back home. Anyways, don't want to make this a political stand or anything, but this is obviously something that I really, really respect, just the culture. Like, I'm not going to complain about somebody if I'm not in my own culture, right? But I know in the Netherlands, people will just call you out if you're that loud. It's like, hey, please, I'm working here as well. Please respect the noise. This is what I love about Holland. And this is also kind of getting back to the fifth point where I'm like, maybe I need to just, get back to Holland, which I probably will. So the next one, after we obviously had the office, which helped me immensely with my focus, because now it's time to lock in. I've got a deadline of 7 months, and I need to have it all sorted out. And I'm pretty well on my way. But there's still a lot of things that I obviously need to fix. One of them is actually, and this is the 7th point, one too many. This is a book by Jason Flatline. I really recommend this book because it teaches you how to build a webinar. Now, I'm not planning on a webinar, but if you know a little bit about one too many, a webinar is basically the same as a video sales letter. And a video sales letter is just basically this. It's selling on camera instead of selling one-to-one. Because if you're selling on camera, you can easily sell to thousands at a time instead of one. And here's the thing. I've sold a lot of coaching in my life, right? And this is because I've had like 3,000 high ticket closing calls. And, if you get like 10, 20% closing rate, in the beginning, you might lose a lot. I've had a lot of closes in my life, but it's always one-to-one, always. So every single time I had somebody book in my calendar, 1 hour block, 30 minutes block, and I sit them one-on-one, go through the script and sell them, right? But this takes a lot of time. Imagine if I have a kid running around, 2 kids, and now I need to just continuously sit on these calls one-on-one. Just ain't gonna happen. So then I realized, crap, I need to fix this because I'm not gonna be on one-on-one calls all my life, right? I need to focus on making time instead of making money because time is not infinite. Money is. So I've always done one-to-one, but now I realize I need to spend time on VSLs, one-to-many high-value strategies, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing a YouTube Live. I just need to get better on camera because this is my next level, the next devil that I'm trying to fight. Because the one-on-one, I'm an expert at it. I've literally closed hundreds and hundreds of high-ticket calls. And it's literally, you could wake me up at 3 a.m. in the night, say, Dave, you got a call in 5 minutes, hop on. I'll take a quick shower, put on a polo, because you always need to look good on calls, and I close the guy, if he's qualified, of course. This is because I've done it so much. It's second nature to me. Now I want to make this second nature, right? And this is why I'm doing it for 20 minutes, and I hope to really give you a lot of value here, because I really thought these topics out, right? So one-to-many, you need to learn this. So how? Well, first of all, getting good on camera. I need to get good on camera, because I'm good at Zoom calls, one-on-one. But getting on camera and selling, it's way different. So I'm doing that, and this is why I'm here today. Not here to sell you anything yet, but obviously I'm here to just give value. And then in the meantime, I'm just learning this book. And I like to keep things simple. Like I could also buy courses on this, but I just focus on the book right now because it has everything that I need. So highly recommend this, One-to-Many by Jason Flatline. Next one, time wasters, 8th point. Because at the end of the day, whenever you get a baby, you just know, I'm not going to waste any more time. And this is twofold. I'm not going to waste any more time with people that waste my time. If you don't respect my time, if you make me feel bad for me working on myself or me spending time not with you, then we've got a problem. Or if you don't respect, just in general, like your own self, so you don't have self-respect, you don't respect your time, you're maybe just wasting your time away, you don't do anything meaningful with your life, then I don't have time for you anymore. Because I'm at the ripe age of 27, and I'm doing all right? I've done a lot of work over the last decade, right? And this has led me to where I am today, being able to just work and travel the world freely. My wife doesn't have to work. We're good, right? But obviously, this wasn't always the case. In the beginning, I had a lot of difficulties with people that wasted my time and didn't respect my time. I remember very vividly when I started my business. This was in 2021, right when COVID hit. And I was telling my friends, like, hey guys, I'm going to start this business. And I started posting myself. And they literally laughed me in the face. Like they were making fun of me. And it was quite traumatic because this was my world back then, right? And I realize now again, it kind of made me get flashbacks to that time. Like whenever you start your business, it's kind of like a life-changing moment, right? Same as getting a baby. And this is exactly what I had just recently. Like the kind of realization that I had is like my like bullshit meter is so short right now. Like if you show me one little bit of bullshit, like we're not going to be friends. And I know it might sound tough, but I'd rather have like very limited friends and spend little time with them than having way too many friends and, they're just all kind of, fake friends. I know this is a bit of a hard topic and I might sound like a prick, but if you don't respect your own time, then you've got a huge problem because other people won't respect your time and you're probably not going to be as productive as you can. Now, it's not all about being productive, but I'm talking about having time with your kid. Like people in a 9-to-5, they would absolutely kill for this, having free time with your kid. So it's going to be a very, very small circle. So we got 2 more. Number 10 is just the knowledge. So I actually reached out to one of my, I call him a buddy, actually. He's one of my buddies now. His name is Julian Blanc. Maybe you guys know him, very, very big, YouTube self-help guy. And I've worked for him for many years, so we're kind of close. And I told him, like, hey, Julian, I'm going to become a father because I know he's very, very serious about this stuff. And he's a father himself, and he's even made some content, like podcasts on how to raise a family. So I knew he was going to like it. It's like, hey, bro, we just had good news. We're going to, we're getting a baby. It's like, awesome. And he sent me 2 good books, like How to Be a Good Dad. And I think it was kind of like it's literally How to Be a Dad and then How to Be a Dad After. If If you want, I can just send me a message on Instagram. I'll send you the exact books. But I realized like, oh damn, yeah, I need to get back to reading books, because I've read a ton of books. Like I have a post on Instagram, you see all my self-help books. It's like I've got hundreds of them, right? And I've read them all. I was a very good reader, but I kind of let go of it. And it's just such a shame, because reading is one of the best ways you can prepare yourself for what's coming. I can literally read a book and just get absolute all the information that I need for myself to be prepared. Learn the lessons from other people that they've gone through, the mistakes that they've made. I mean, it's just wonderful, right? So I'm getting back to reading books, this time about fatherhood. I guess I was just maybe waiting for the right time to read a good book again, because I've read the book on self-helps, I've read the book on socializing, I've read the book on sales, I've read the books on now, business, and of course there's always more to learn. I'm not being like, oh, I know it all. The more you learn, the more you know you don't know anything, right? But I kind of just let go of it, because I knew I need more action right now. I don't need too much knowledge, because I've already kind of acquired the knowledge. I just need a bit more action right now. But now with a full-blown new area of life that's opening up, I just need to get my head back in those books. So this is the next thing, acquiring knowledge and making sure that you actually just read. It's one of the most important things in life, if not the most important thing. But all in all, we'll go to the last one, which is the relationship with my wife. Now, the relationship with my wife has massively improved since we heard the news, because it's just something magical, seeing the woman that you love the most in this world, getting life inside of her. It makes you want to protect her even more. It makes your love as a man grow extensively. So our relationship has massively improved since a couple of weeks, since we know it, because I love her more. I want to protect her more, right? And it's just one of those most beautiful things, one of those life-changing moments where the two of you are going together on a journey to create a family, right? Because in the beginning, it's just you and her, right? And you're not family. You don't know each other for all your life. You're just two strangers that fell in love. And as a man, I think that you fall in love slowly, and as a woman, you kind of fall in love instantly. So with a man, we kind of need to get a little bit like protective over her, and kind of get the masculine, the testosterone to work. And a woman, they might fall in love immediately. So as a man, it's kind of like a process. You learn to love a woman, right? But yeah, having the baby is just gonna massively just kind of 10x that. I mean, we've been together now for a couple of years now already. But yeah, this getting a baby thing is just awesome, because I really want to just protect her more and love her more, and just show up as the best man that I can humanly be. And that's what I'm gonna end it up with. Just the relationship is just gonna massively improve. If you're looking for like a hack on how to improve your marriage, well, just get a baby. But don't let it be that only thing. Don't make it literally the one thing that's keeping your marriage alive, because you don't want it. And this is a good tip as well that I actually learned from Julian Blanc. It's just, you don't want to become like that couple that is together because of the kids. Like, this may sound weird or a bit out there, but the main priority of your marriage is still your wife, not your kids. So you just let the kids know, hey, me and my wife are going on a date. You're staying with Uncle Joe tonight. You're staying with the alcoholic. No, just kidding. But you know how this works, right? You need to focus on the marriage, the love. Because if that love fades, you're also giving a very bad example to, in this case, your future kids. So that's it. 10 lessons that I have learned from becoming a father. And I'm going to take you on the journey with me. So keep me in the loop by just hitting that subscribe button. If not, all good too. You can find me on Instagram at Mr. Discipline Mindset. And if you have any questions, anything you'd like to, get out of your head, just pop it in the comments. I'll read every single comment and get back to you as soon as I can. So we're going to do this frequently. I'm looking forward to the next one. And for now, I'm going to say peace out.